Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's been a few weeks, and we've certainly missed you. I wanted to show off some new masks that we just got in with our All Pets Considered logo on them. If you're familiar with the eye mask brand we carry, this is that same brand, just printed in black with our logo. So we will tell you how you can get one of these lovely little masks on our social media accounts a little bit later today. Sorry, I have the girls and I'm trying to make arrangements just in case they get rowdy. We will post to our Facebook page a little bit later today about how you can get one of these fabulous new masks. They're nice and lightweight. And of course, those easy stretchy ear loops. So we will tell you how you can get one of those masks a little bit later today on our social media accounts. So be sure to stay in touch and watching our Facebook page and our Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, if you are on Instagram, be sure to be following us. We've been doing some giveaways and some fun things on Instagram, and we're going to continue to do that. So we hope that you will follow us on Instagram as well as on our Facebook page, because there are some Instagram-only giveaways that we will be doing. I've been busy planning for the new year. We're very excited about all that we have going on. I will get to it at the end, but our new subscription boxes are in for January and have started shipping, and they are sponsored this month by our friends at Natural Balance. And one of the reasons I chose Natural Balance this month is because Natural Balance has some real functional pet foods that they have come out with. They have always had Fat Cat and Fat Dog, which is a great weight loss food. And today we're going to be talking about the Battle of the Bulge. If you're like me, maybe you ate a little bit too much around the holidays and you're feeling a little extra, our pets sometimes can feel the same way. And pet obesity is a big deal. It impacts their health negatively just like it does ours. And over 50% of pets in U.S. homes are considered obese. 56% of dogs and 60% of cats are considered obese under the definition of how their weight should be. Ideal weight for pets. And if you're like me, when I had cats, I liked a good fluffy cat. And it's no better for cats' health than it is for dogs' health to be obese. I can remember my husband calling my cat fat, and I kept saying, he's not fat. But in reality, he was fat. And I did some things that I should not have done. But at the time, I really didn't know and really thought that a fluffy, snuggly cat was wonderful. And indeed, he was wonderful, but he was fluffy. And he needed to have less weight on his body. And so I definitely encourage you, if you have got an overweight pet, watch the next few minutes. I'm going to give you some tips. Yeah, Jennifer Hart said it can shorten a dog's life by 2.5 years. And we all know our pets are precious to us. So those additional 2.5 years are precious years to have. Indeed, it can shorten their life, Jennifer. I'm going to provide some tips and tricks today on how you can get weight off of your pet, because sometimes that struggle is real. And so, like, the first thing people tend to come in here and say to us is, I want a weight management food or a weight loss food or a senior food, thinking less calories is really where you need to go. And while that is part of the battle, it's not the whole battle, because it's what's in those calories that matter too. And typically speaking, some of those weight loss foods don't just cut the calories and fat, but they increase on the carbs. So they cut the protein. And so it can actually do the opposite and not really take off the unwanted weight and sometimes add to the unwanted weight. So be careful of the tips and tricks that you follow, and weight management food isn't all that it's cracked up to be sometimes. Doesn't mean always, but sometimes. And so here's some tips and tricks you can do without changing your pet's food that we want to review with you. So in order to do this, I'm going to share my screen and review a couple of things with you. This blog, so you don't have to take notes or anything. This blog, you can follow along on our website, or go back and refer to my blog that I've just written on our website anytime later. If you need these tips and tricks, they are always there for you to review. So we will share the screen. Let me get that shared so it's a little bigger. So this is the blog. But you'll see there that it's estimated 56% of dogs and 60% of cats are considered overweight or obese. And there's some information on this link right here about pet obesity prevention and how it impacts health. But here are some ideas for you. So one of the things, it's kind of a misnomer. People will let their pet graze throughout the day. Maybe they leave a bowl down for their pet and just put a scoop in the morning, put a scoop at night. They're not necessarily paying attention or measuring. Just whenever the bowl's empty, they'll fill it. That was the number one thing I did with my cat. Whenever he would mew to me, and I would always think, oh my gosh, yes, your bowl is less than half full, and so of course you're mewing to me. One of the things I didn't consider was that I was not feeding him in a flat dish. I was feeding him in a deep dish, and he couldn't get to the bottom comfortably. So that was one of the problems. The other problem was I wasn't measuring the dry cat food I was giving him throughout the day. I was just scooping when he told me it was time to eat. And so I was not managing his calories or his intake, and I unfortunately created a very overweight cat. Feeding twice a day allows your pet to have better metabolism. It also can have the extra added benefit of helping with potty training. So if you're training a puppy like I am, having a routine feeding schedule can help you know when they need to go potty, need to go outside, and it can help you avoid unwanted accidents throughout the day. Now, I'm going to tell you this is not a magical fix, but it can help you, because then you can isolate when they do go potty, and you know when their system needs to go outside, and can just help everybody get on a better schedule. So we definitely recommend feeding twice daily and not allowing your pet to graze. With cats, one of the added benefits you can do is cutting back on their kibble and adding in more wet food. Wet food is better for a cat anyway. We really do preach around here that an all wet diet for a cat is best. But if you do put crunchies out, minimizing the amount of crunchy kibble you give throughout the day, so it minimizes the amount of carbs your cat is getting, because cats really don't need carbs. The only reason there's a carb in their kibble is to bind that meat together, and those carbs turn to unwanted weight in a cat. It can also lead to things like diabetes and thyroid issues. So you definitely want to minimize the amount of dry food your cat gets. The next thing here is using a measuring device, a measuring scoop or a cup that has a marked exact amount. So these are great little things. These are a measuring cup. This one is half a cup, and let me put it out so you can see how it does. So it folds out like that, and then when you're not using it, you can fold it flat like this, but it also is a clip. So if you need to clip the bag of food that it goes with, you can simply clip it onto the bag of food to keep the bag sealed a little bit better in the container you keep it in, but then also gives you an exact measuring scoop. We have them in half a cup, 1 cup, and then we also have them in 2 cup. I just don't have them here. But these products are by Dexis. They are available for ordering through our website as well as on our shelves here in the stores. What people don't understand is if you take this measuring scoop and you take this scoop, and your pet's supposed to eat half a cup per meal per day. So you take this and you scoop it into your, I don't know, y'all are getting rowdy. You scoop it into the kibble, and you just have a nice little rounded heaping portion and put it in your pet's bowl. That rounded heaping portion, that's not free calories. Those cost your pet. And that innocent mistake can add up every day, every week, every month to extra weight. So if your pet is supposed to be having half a cup per meal per day, you need to make sure it is a even half a cup. Don't round it, because that extra tablespoon of food comes with extra pounds. And so do remember that. That's a very innocent mistake people make. So I really encourage you to measure out what your pet is eating so that you have a good handle on how much they're taking in. That is such an innocent mistake. I have customers who come in and I'll say, well, how much are you feeding them? Well, I don't know. I use a cup, like an actual plastic cup, and just stick it down in there, and they eat about this much of that cup. Well, how much is that? Well, I don't know. So it is important to know exactly how much your pet is getting and intaking, yes, of food a day, so that if you need to adjust it, you know how much down to adjust it. The third thing here is feeding guidelines on pet food are just that. They're guidelines. The amount of calories your pet is going to need is going to depend greatly upon your individual pet. I've made no bones about the fact I feed my pets a raw diet, and what Merida eats is different than what Aurora eats, even though they're very similar in size. And what Merida eats and another dog I have that's about her same size is very different as well. Their lifestyles are different. Their metabolisms are different. Everything about them is different. So to keep her at a nice trim weight, she takes in a different amount than the other dog in our home, Domino, who's about the same size. So Domino actually needs more than what Merida needs. Now, that could have something to do with the fact that Merida comes to work with me and has passed off a little treat here and a little treat there. If you've ever met Jane, or you might know her better by Santa Claus, she and Merida have a very special relationship. And when I say special, I mean Merida knows that Jane likes to give Merida treats. And so when Jane comes in the office, Merida can quickly decide that it is treat time. And so Merida does get extra calories throughout the day. And I do account for that when I am feeding her. She doesn't get as much as the others do because she has more treats during the day. So consider that. And I would consider what you're feeding before you transition food. So if you think you might be overfeeding, consider that before you go and switch to a different weight management kibble, because maybe all you need to do is adjust how much you're feeding them. Then, number 4, feeding mats, treat dispensing toys, slow feeders can help slow down the feeding process so your pet doesn't eat everything in one gulp. So, feeding time for us, I know I went to Sushi Republic the other night and had dinner with my son and a couple of friends, and it was so much fun. And I loved it. Well, feeding for our pets should be just as fun. They should really enjoy their mealtime. It shouldn't just be one gulp and it's done. And so I definitely encourage you to use some of these ideas with your pets. We have these fun feeders. Let me see if I can slide this out a little bit, but maybe you can see that picture better. These little fun feeders, you can put their kibble or even raw food or canned food down inside, and then they have to work to eat it. Takes them a little bit longer, and it stretches it out. So, if they were just eating it in one gulp, this stretches it out. It can also help with digestion, and it's definitely going to help slow them down. So this is a tiny one. We do have them a little bit bigger. We have them in all shapes and sizes, and we have them for cats too. I think that this is a really cool one for cats by Pet Stages. And it's more of a silicone material as opposed to plastic. It has a bowl here that holds up to a cup, but then it has a little snack mat too, which I think is very cool. This is by Messy Mutts. Again, it's a silicone feeder. We have it in a larger size too for dogs, but this is their cat version. Another really cool feeder, slow feeder way for you to feed your pet. This is the hunting feeder for cats. Let me open it so you can see. It comes with these little mice. The really cool thing about this is, and unfortunately it only takes crunchy treats or soft kibble, but you open this up, put the food in, and then put it around your house, and your cat has to hunt for their food. So it is a stimulation, it is exercise, and it's a way to creatively feed your cat. This can help with behavior issues for cats as well. So it kind of solves a few problems all at once. So this is a great thing for cats. Dogs, another way to slow them down is these kind of treat dispensing toys. If you have kibble or fruits and vegetables, things like that, you can put that down in here. They have to wobble it around, and it falls out as it wobbles around. The Kong one, maybe you can see, has a heavier bottom, so it wobbles, and they nudge it all over and discover that good things fall out of it. This one is a bottle with a rope in it, and you fill it with the food, the kibble, and as they move the rope, the food falls out. So we have a couple of different, these are not all of them. I was just giving some idea of the different kinds of feeders we have. Treats. Treats count towards overall intake of calories. As I've said here, wouldn't it be nice if bonbons and chips that we snack on throughout the day weren't a lifetime on my hips? Consider that. Sometimes it's a mistake we may make when we're considering how many calories they take in. We don't consider how many treats they get throughout the day. So if they're accustomed to getting a treat for going potty outside or throughout the day, try to change up what you're giving them to be lower calorie while you're working on getting the weight off. You can certainly add in, their beloved treats once they get to a better weight, but still consider the treats that they are taking in. Exercise. I know that I try to exercise every single day, and it is beneficial for all of us, including our pets. And just because your pet is a senior, or even if your pet has some disabilities or things like that, simple exercise, even if it's around your backyard or around the block, these are kind of things that can help them burn extra calories, and it benefits you too. It's interaction with your pet, and that's never a bad thing. I've got some tips and tricks in here. I'll go over them briefly, but the green bean diet is something we talk a lot about. There is a link here, so you can hyperlink and click to go to the website, more about green bean diet and why it works. There's also a link here about pumpkin as a weight loss tool. And I have some of those pumpkin items here. This is the Fruitables weight loss supplement. Basically what you're doing is decreasing what you feed them, the pet food you feed them, and replacing it with pumpkin or green beans. And so that additional fiber really helps to get the weight off your pet in a quick manner. It just takes away fat and calories and replaces it with fiber. And that really does help. So Fruitables weight loss supplement. We also have several different Laruva pouches. So if you have a smaller dog and a very large can, like a Fruitables can, is too much pumpkin for you, you can try one of these pouches. And then for cats, they can have pumpkin too. This is a great tiki pumpkin that also has wheatgrass in it. So it's great for cat weight loss. So those are my tips and tricks. And like I said, you go to our website, and if you go under our About, you can get to our blog that way. And that is where you will find this blog post. So if you have to refer back to it for anything, it is there. Hopefully you guys can see the blog screen. Oh, I guess you guys couldn't see it all the way. Maybe it didn't go all the way down for you. I hope it did. But if it did not, hopefully it did. But if it did not, you can go there and read everything and hopefully see all of what I went over. If you want me to hold up any of these items that I talked about during going over the blog, let me know and I'll hold it back up again. I can show you. This is one of my favorite. I was talking about the hunting feeder. And this is the cat hunting feeder. It's little mice. I don't know if you can see that. You take a little scooper and you scoop the food into the mice, and then you hide them around your house, and your cat has to hunt for them. And it is $21.99 here at our store. But I think this is great stimulation for cats. It can really help some behavior issues you might have with cats. Cats are hunters. And so indoor cats can get bored, and that can lead to a lot of behavior issues. So this helps stimulate those kind of issues. And then these were the fun feeders I was talking about. These are for dogs, and it just helps slow them down so it's not one gulp, and makes feeding time a little bit better for your pet and for you. And then these are the scoops I was talking about. You see what it looks like when it's all folded out and scooped. And a nice little trick, is if you fold it this is a cup. So if you fold it up, you'll have half a cup, and then you can get flat completely like this and use it as a clip for your pet food. So we do recommend keeping the pet food in the bag and then keeping the bag inside an airtight container and rolling down the top of it. And you can certainly use this to clip on the top. It's very convenient. And it's silicone, so it's easy to wash. Trying to think if there are any other questions. Are there any questions? Oh, one other thing. We do have a scale here at our store, and somebody, ironically, right before I came on, called our store asking for a scale. And this was a great point, as if they knew I was going to do this. But we have a scale here, and that's wonderful. It's a wonderful tool to be able to measure your pet's weight loss. So you can come in today or anytime this weekend or whenever you start this journey with your pet and get a good target weight for what you're starting at. Then you can bring them in weekly or every other week and start measuring their weight loss. So you can wait until you get to their ideal weight and bring them in, measure their weight, and then you know what an ideal target is for your pet. And you can judge based on the way that they look as to what the ideal scale is. I will put a link in here to a chart, a body chart, but your vet, I'm sure, has one up on the wall in their exam rooms. My vet certainly does for both cats and dogs, but it has to do with being able to, you can feel their ribs but not see their ribs, and they have a nice hourglass figure, right? Hourglass figure is what we're looking for. And their tummy is nice and tucked up. And okay, enough. We just had some new friends come to the store and Laura wants to make sure they see her. Enough. But the customer, when they called, said that they were wanting a scale to come and measure their pet to make sure that they're feeding their pet the most accurate amount. And that's a great point. Knowing what your pet's weight is very important, because if your pet is only 50 pounds, but you're feeding for a 60-pound dog, you're definitely going to be overfeeding. And not only are you going to be adding on weight, you're going to be feeding food they shouldn't be eating. And that's going to be money out of your pocket. Yes, she loves the last word. She absolutely does. That is a dachshund through and through. Loves to have the last word. Yes. You want to go with Rachel? We'll pass her off. She doesn't always behave for me, but she's been working with Rachel to warm up to her. Well, if anybody has any additional questions, I'm here for your questions. Know that we have the scale out for you whenever you might need it. And while I'm sitting here and you're thinking of any questions, I'll go ahead and show off our subscription boxes for this month. Like I said, they're sponsored by our friends at Natural Balance. This is the dog subscription box, as I drop everything out of it. It has treats and dental treats and some of this functional food I was talking about. This one's called On the Move, and it helps support healthy joints and bones. It's targeted nutrition by Natural Balance. Let me go closer. Really, really cool stuff. This one is chicken-based, and it does have, it's formulated with a high-quality protein to help joint structure, has L-carnitine in it. It is made with chicken, which is a natural source of glucosamine and can join. So it is nice and formulated for healthy joints. Then they have Gentle Balance for healthy digestion. Again, it's targeted nutrition. The Zen Life helps support a long, happy life. Oh, goodness. I'm terrible at this, getting this just right for you guys to see on the screen. Some more treats. As I sit here and talk about weight loss, I'm piling on the treats. These are good, healthy treats, but you definitely want to give them in moderation. Christine, yes, kittens and puppies should eat 3 times a day. Puppies should eat 3 times a day until they're 6 months old. And As far as the kibble with cats, other people will give you a different opinion, and that's okay. You're going to do what works best for your cats. I do not recommend dry food for cats. I just don't. I really believe an all-wet diet for cats is the best diet you can feed them. And it will help you keep the weight off in the long run, and it'll keep things like diabetes at bay. The carbohydrates that are in dry food for cats can really lead to a lot of problems. But number one, they can lead to excess weight. It's one of the reasons our domesticated cats can get so fat so fast. It's because they have these carbohydrates their body doesn't know what to do with. They really are carnivores. They just need meat. They really, really do not need plants to survive. The fiber is nice for them from plants, but they don't need the nutrition from that. So I really do encourage people to feed wet to their cats. And of course, yes, Wendy, there is a cat. I'll show you the cat here in just a second, but there is a cat. Christy is asking me, I have a foster blind cat, needs to lose weight, prefers kibble, but will eat some canned. Christy, if you must do a dry food for cats, and here's the thing about cats, they are imprint feeders. So as a kitten, if you feed your kitten dry food, your kitten will get accustomed to that. And in fact, cats actually, their tongues and their mouth adjust to the shape of the kibble. So they can get addicted to the size and shape of a certain kibble, and then it's very hard to even switch them over to another kibble. Cats can be really, really hard to switch their feeding habits. That's why you want to start them off on a really good foot. You can switch them. It just takes a long time, and you have to be more determined than they are. And so if you want a really good dry kibble that is going to be low calorie, I would recommend the Natural Balance Fat Cat. We've had a lot of really good success with that. It's a big seller for us as far as a weight loss food. So if you really, really have to have a dry kibble for your cat, that's what I would recommend. But I would give very little of it, and I would give as much wet food to the cat as you possibly can. Moisture is very important for cats because of their kidneys. A cat in the wild would not normally, they would get all their hydration with whatever they kill. They're not going to go really and seek water to drink. And so when we take the water out of the kibble, of course, the meat and the products that we put in their kibble, when we remove the moisture from that through the baking, we actually, and when I say we, the manufacturers add in salt to that kibble to encourage your cat to go and drink water. Well, that salt can lead to other issues too. So I say just forget having to circumvent the wheel. Why don't we just go with the wheel and give them moisture with their diet, which is what they ultimately really need. And moisture for cats and dogs is vital in the role of digestion. So adding in moisture to your pet's food is vitally important. So I definitely recommend doing that. Man, Christine, you say you have kittens that love green beans? That's crazy town. I've never heard of cats that like green beans. I mean, I'm sure they exist, but it's interesting that your kittens love green beans. But they are full of fiber, which is good for cats. Cats do need fiber. Cats out in the wild would eat things like grass and bark to help keep themselves regular, to help with fur ball issues. We're actually getting a treat in here in the next week or two that has coconut fiber in it to really help with the hairball issue. Meredith says she wants to get out of the stroller. Say hello. Jennifer, it's a little bit more expensive to feed a cat canned food, yes. But it's usually 1 ounce per pound of body weight for a cat is what they should be eating in canned food. I mean, give or take, depending upon your cat's metabolism, but 1 ounce per pound of cat body weight. So if your cat is, say, this works out perfectly because it helps me with math, but if your cat's 12 pounds or 11 pounds, they should be getting 2 5.5 ounce cans a day. That would be 11 ounces. So that would be how you would start out. If you substitute or if you add in any dry food or any treats on top of that, then you need to include that in their caloric intake. Interestingly enough, it's pretty inexpensive to feed cats some raw. And if your cat will tolerate it or will eat it, it is a wonderful way to keep the weight off on cats. And it is meat and free of all carbs. So it's a great way to feed your cats. However, that being said, transitioning cats can be tough. So that's one of those things you have to just play with and know your cat, because cats will starve themselves just to prove a point to you. Dogs will not. A healthy dog is eventually going to eat, but a cat really will starve themselves. So you need to make sure you're transitioning gently with a cat, because they have all kinds of intricacies that are so different than their dog counterparts. And like I said, their mouths and their whole their mouth and their tongue get addicted to the shape of the kibbles. So I've had customers that have come in and said, my cat had a dental and he had a tooth pulled and now he won't eat his kibble. It's because the mouth has changed shape, so the cat just doesn't, the kibble feels weird to them now. So it's strange how cats get addicted to that. But certain kibbles, kibble molds have patents on them because other pet food companies don't want them to have that mold because it's a popular kibble shape. Okay, Merida, hang on. I've got to show the box. Wendy, I'm going to get the cat box for you. I'll set the dog one here. Here's the cat one. Oh, yeah, and it does, both boxes come with this little bag that you see down here. But it has a small bag of cat food from Natural Balance, and it has canned food samples. It has pouch samples, some of their new pouches. It has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Has 10 cans in it, has some pouches, has a bag of food, has some treats, all kinds of fun things. So yes, this is the cat with their little, and the bag has some goodies in it too from Natural Balance. And what's not in there is they also contain a cat toy. So those are the boxes. Boxes are available on our website. You can go to our subscription page. Let me share again really quickly where that is. Get here. If you go here to subscription boxes, this is our subscription box page. And you can do a one-time purchase or you can do a subscription. There are different prices based on what you decide to do. There's a drop-down menu. It shows you the different prices. And we will do a ship to you if you live out of the area and would like us to ship it to you. Hopefully that answers all your questions. But Jennifer, yes, in short, it's a little bit more expensive, but it saves your cat in the long run and saves you some potential health problems down the road. So maybe in the end, it evens out a little bit. I know. And it is better for your cat. Any other questions? We're glad to be back. We took a little break from these lives during the holidays so that we could have some time devoted to everybody shopping in the store and all of the holiday hubbub we've had going on. But we enjoy seeing all of you on here with us. Please go on and follow us on Instagram. We would love to have you there in addition to here. And we hope you enjoy the snow out there. Just kidding. Jennifer Hart, I think we're all blaming you for there not being any snow. That's what I saw Sharon say. It's all Jennifer's fault that we have no snow because she put a tarp down in her backyard and hoped she would be keeping a nice, clean, grassy area for her pets to go potty. But be sure to watch our social media page a little bit later today on how you can get one of these wonderful masks with the fancy All Pets Considered logo on it to show your love for All Pets Considered. And feel free to come in. Jennifer, you're right. The day isn't over, and I do hear the afternoon is very possibly going to have more snow in it. So I'm hoping for a little bit more snow today, and I'm not one who usually hopes for any snow at all. And I only say that because I know it'll be warm enough tomorrow to get rid of all of it. But we hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon and evening. We will see you back here next week. We're going to talk about Herb Smith supplements and the reason supplementation is so beneficial for your pet. So we will be talking about our friends at Herb Smith and the supplement line that they carry. And I will be posting our Facebook Live time on Monday and getting that all ready to go. Christine says, no, snow. I know usually I am that way. Not the biggest fan of snow. Not the biggest fan of cold. We like spring and summer, don't we, Mary? But Merritt and Aurora came dressed, bundled up and warm today because it is chilly out there. And if you're in need of a coat, we do have our Worthy Dog line out in full style. So you can come in and bring your pet in and try one of our warm, cuddly coats on. Let's get their heads correct. Well, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to post them here. If you don't watch this live, you're watching it later and pre-recorded, you can still post your questions here, and I will keep a watch and answer any questions that you might have. We thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks, everybody, and Happy New Year.